What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and I want to know from you all. How many of you all believe in Bigfoot or believe in these other type of creatures like the chupacabra and stuff like that? Let me know down in the comments below. And really let me know. And if you've had any encounters, let me know down in the comments as well. I'm really trying to see something here, because I'm thinking of possibly creating another channel where I talk about more supernatural things like Bigfoot and UFOs. I mean, there's so much UFO stuff going on these days that I feel like I would almost have to create a separate channel just to talk about that stuff. So that's a possibility in the future. But first, I want to see how many of you all are interested in that. So if you're interested, let me know below. But speaking of Bigfoot, that's actually why I'm here today. Because a few days ago, there was a crazy Bigfoot encounter in Louisiana. In fact, this encounter made national headlines because a group of teenagers that decided to go camping to celebrate their graduation, well, their camping trip got cut short. Their camping trip did not go as expected. It did not go as planned. In fact, the police, the local sheriff's department, they had to go into the woods, find these teenagers, and rescue them after they called 911 because they were afraid for their lives, because they were being followed. They were being tracked by some sort of Bigfoot-like creature. Now, obviously, people are going to have their own explanations. Oh, it was a bear. It was this, it was that. I don't know what it is. All I know is that this story was wild enough to make national headlines. And I'm just glad that I'm not one of those teenagers. Because I can't imagine being in the middle of nowhere so afraid for your life as you're staring down the eyes of some creature that you can't explain. And like literally all they felt like they could resort to doing is calling the police. Imagine calling the police, hey, Bigfoot's out to get me. But that's how desperate these teens were. They were afraid for their lives. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this info and see what the heck is going on here. Cops rescue terrified teens from growling Bigfoot with glowing eyes in Louisiana forest amid a spat of sightings. So apparently in this area where these teens were camping, there has been other sightings. There have also been Bigfoot experts that have gone out there and so-called, found signs that Bigfoot was around. They've heard sounds and all that type of stuff. Listen, when it comes to Bigfoot, I believe that anything is possible. Let me put it like that. I'm not someone who will sit here and say, Bigfoot is real for sure. I'm not that type of guy. But I do believe in the possibility that Bigfoot could exist. And even if he doesn't exist, I think there's something interesting about Bigfoot anyways. Because I think there's a possibility that maybe he doesn't exist now, but maybe Bigfoot or Bigfoot-like creatures existed in the past. I think a lot of these mythical tales, these mythological creatures that we talk about in our society, I don't think that they came from imagination. I think a lot of these creatures actually existed at one point and maybe still exist to this day. So I'm not like a die-hard Bigfooter. I'm not a die-hard Squatcher. But yeah, I believe in the possibility that something's out there. But let's go ahead and dive back in. A group of terrified teens have been rescued after an encounter with a glowing-eyed and growling Bigfoot in a Louisiana forest. The Natchitoches Parish Sheriff's deputies said the recent high school graduates from Houma called in distress while deep within the Kisatchie National Forest late last week. The teenagers were ages 17 to 18, and they recounted a chilling encounter with what the group described as a creature resembling Bigfoot with glowing eyes, according to the local sheriff's office. The group had reportedly ventured approximately 1.5 miles down the Backbone Trail in southern Natchitoches Parish to camp out after their graduation festivities. One of the teens, who was panicked by a growling sound and a mysterious figure standing about 5 feet tall with glowing eyes, called emergency services for rescue. Now, let me pause right there. 5 feet tall. Usually, when we hear about Bigfoot, we think of Bigfoot. We think of a bigger creature. But I've also read and I've heard about several encounters where people encounter what they describe as almost like a baby Bigfoot, more of a younger Bigfoot. So when you're seeing, 5 feet, that can't be Bigfoot. Well, according to the Bigfoot experts, according to people who have supposedly, allegedly seen these things, they've seen entire families. They've seen kids, and often it's the younger ones, the smaller ones, who will take more interest in humans because the older ones already know better and the younger ones are more curious. At least that's the explanation that is out there. Is it true? I don't know. Did these kids see Bigfoot? I don't know. But they damn sure saw something. Let's go forward. At approximately 9:20 p.m., deputies assigned to the MPSO Patrol Operations Bureau responded to NATCOM 911 Center reports of a group in Kisatchie National Forest needing assistance. Deputy B. Remo and D. Halliburton cautiously approached the campsite, alert for any signs of danger. Following the sound of the group's whistle, the deputies finally located the teens, who were unharmed but were visibly very shaken. Upon arriving at the campsite, deputies escorted the teens safely out the forest. So, the deputies were able to find these teens by listening for their whistle. And when they found them, all of them are okay. But they were all scared to death. They were so scared that they literally would not walk around. They would not turn around and go back to the path to get out of the forest. They kind of got scared in place. They were so scared they didn't want to go here. They didn't want to go there. They kind of grouped together and just waited for help. Luckily, help came. But law enforcement describes how visibly shaken they are. And law enforcement, they deal with a lot of crazy stuff. They deal with a lot of crazy people. Usually they're able to tell when someone's, BSing around and when someone's serious. And from the way they've described events, these teens, regardless of what they saw, I don't know if they saw Bigfoot or not, but they saw something that scared the living crap out of them. But let's go forward. Despite a thorough investigation, authorities were unable to corroborate reports of a creature matching the description provided by the group. The MPSO concluded their statement congratulating the graduates, thanking them for visiting the park and the National Forest, and wishing them success in their future endeavors. Many social media users expressed skepticism about the encounter, doubting the details recounted by the teens in the comments. According to some, the glowing eyes could have simply been a reflection from a flashlight, possibly originating from a local wildlife like a black bear or a wild hog. If they used a flashlight, the eyes might have glowed, probably a black bear or possibly a hog, one person wrote. Others praised the teens for their quick decision to seek assistance rather than trying to navigate the forest alone while feeling distressed. Seems like they were too scared to walk out on their own and had to call for help, one user commented. Others joked that the group must have taken a substance or a drug that led them to see things that were not there. One person says, oh, the shrooms must have really kicked in. However, the encounter comes after previous reports of Bigfoot activity in the same area. In 2019, within the depths of the Kisatchie National Forest, two researchers known only as Texla and Claude conducted a nighttime expedition where they howled 4 times into the forest at Bigfoot and received 4 howls back. Texla, an experienced Bigfoot researcher from Baton Rouge, explained their methods involving using audio devices and cameras camouflaged among the trees to capture evidence of Bigfoot's presence. Claude also emphasized the importance of interpreting subtle signs such as twisted tree limbs and mysterious markers, which they believe could be indicative of Bigfoot's presence. It is what it is. If you choose to believe, that's great. If you choose not to believe, that's great too, says Texla. A lot of people don't want to come forward because they don't want to be intimidated. They don't want to be made fun of. Claude said he was able to get photos of a Bigfoot's tracks in that area that they researched. Nothing remarkable, nothing to write home about, but they were, in my way of thinking, good tracks, he said. This comes amid a spat of reported sightings of Bigfoot in various states across the nation. In October 2023, a multi-state investigation was launched after a compelling Bigfoot sighting in Colorado energized other U.S. states to step up their search efforts. Indiana and Oklahoma initiated expeditions to find Bigfoot after the hopes of Sasquatch believers were energized following Colorado's viral video evidence of a sighting. During a narrow gauge train ride from Durango to Silverton, a passenger looking for elk with her husband was distracted by a hairy creature instead. Shannon Park from Cheyenne, Wyoming said, I think I saw Bigfoot. Another passenger named Brandon saw the couple react and decided to pull out his phone to record the mythical beast. The Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization launched an investigation in McAllister after several reports of Bigfoot sightings popped up last September. Despite being further away from the recent action, Indiana Bigfoot Research Organization kicked off their autumn campout on October 12th with around 40 squatchers over the weekend to connect with other believers and try their luck at catching a glimpse of the creature. I remember that Bigfoot sighting from the train. That was a wild situation. I actually made a video about it right here on this channel. You can go check it out. Go look it up. But as far as these teens go, I don't know what they saw. You know, maybe they did see a black bear. But whatever they saw, it scared them enough that they were kind of frozen in place, waiting for help. Teens, young boys, fully capable of just turning around and going back the way they came, but they were too scared. And part of me feels like, I don't know, would they be that scared of a bear? Even if you see a bear and you think it's something else, there's something there. I feel like, you know, as people, as human beings, sometimes we get those feelings inside. You know what I mean? And they had to get that feeling, that striking feeling of fear that paralyzes you in a way. And I just don't know if that just came from a random bear or another animal they may have seen. Because even seeing one of those animals is scary, but does it really give you that spiritual sense of fear that just makes you not even able to move a muscle? So who knows what they experienced. I'm glad they were all okay. We hear so many stories about people going missing while they're out hiking and stuff. Y'all gotta be careful in these woods, y'all. There's something weird going on out there, and people just get lost and die all the time as well. But when it comes to this Bigfoot conversation, the Bigfoot conversation has gotten very interesting as of late. Because back in the day, people just thought, oh, Bigfoot's this big, crazy looking creature that, is able to avoid people. He lives in the woods. But nowadays, there's all of these different theories. Theories about, possibly Bigfoot maybe can cloak himself. Maybe he can go invisible. Or maybe Bigfoot is a creature that travels through dimensions, and that's why we can never find him. Sometimes he's on our dimensional plane, sometimes he's somewhere else. And when I say he, I don't mean Bigfoot is just one individual, but you get what I'm saying, right? Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of these theories are far-fetched. I'm not here to tell you that I believe these theories. I'm not here to tell you that you should believe these theories. I'm simply talking about theories that are out there. And regardless if you believe them or not, it does not negate the fact that these theories exist. So there's a lot of different theories that have been going around. Like I said, cloaking device, maybe he's able to cloak himself, or maybe Bigfoots are traveling through different dimensions. One of my favorite theories is that Bigfoots are a species of aliens, maybe less intelligent aliens, that have kind of been enslaved by a more intelligent form of alien. And maybe they drop them down here on Earth as a form of prison sentence or something weird like that. That's one of my favorite theories. Once again, I'm not saying that I believe the theory, but that's what I find almost more interesting than all of the other theories. That Bigfoot's really an alien from another, place that's kind of more of like a less intelligent, maybe a slave to the Greys or the Tall Whites or some more intelligent being. And maybe sometimes they're placed down here for one reason or the other. Who knows? But I definitely find the theories about Bigfoot not necessarily being a creature from Earth, but a creature, that's tied to extraterrestrials in some sort of way. I find those theories to be the most entertaining, the most interesting, and I think the most plausible. Mostly because when you look into things, a lot of these Bigfoot sightings, they happen in areas where there's a lot of UFO sightings. In fact, there are Bigfoot encounters on record that happen basically around the same time as UFO sightings that are on record. And they seem to kind of be, happening around the same areas a lot. In places where Bigfoot supposedly has been seen, those are usually places where UFOs have been seen. So, maybe there's a connection there, maybe not. I do know I did cover one crazy story about a Bigfoot sighting not that long ago. But it turned out a guy and his friend, they went fishing. Well, one of the friends was on meth, okay? He didn't tell his other friend that he was on this stuff. So they're out there fishing, and the guy who was tripping out, he was seeing Bigfoot creatures follow him and his friend. And somewhere in his high mind, he decided, wait, I think my friend is about to sacrifice me to these Bigfoots. So he killed his friend before he could be sacrificed. Now, obviously, I don't think any Bigfoots were there, and I think the guy was just high on meth, but that was another crazy Bigfoot story that came out recently. So, let me just say this. If you're ever out camping or you're hanging out with a friend and they see Bigfoot, there's a possibility they're on drugs and they may kill you. So, honestly, it's kind of a lose-lose, scary situation regardless. But rewinding back to this story about these teens, I would like to hear more about this story. How many of these kids, how many of these teens actually saw this creature? Because they only talk about one teen seeing the creature, but the whole group was too scared to walk out of the forest. So either they all saw something, or maybe the reaction from just that one person that saw something was enough to paralyze them with fear. Or maybe there's something supernatural going on there. I don't know. But you let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.